gone silent. It's been completely wall-to-wall conversations, and now it goes...
As I said, I'm starting recording.
Did you actually turn your phone off?
No, it's on.
Oh, yours is on?
Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. Brought to you live from Silicon Valley, California. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sawyerr.
Yes, bring the horns. Cue the music. Brian, well done.
Thank you, Brian. How are you?
It's like a shot of adrenaline every time.
It really is.
Yeah.
Plus, I breathe, and it kind of like gets me a little lightheaded. One day, I'm just going to be screaming your name and then just fall over and pass out.
And the show will go on. When you come to,
he'll come to.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Pay no attention to the man on the floor. All right.
Yeah.
It's been a good
I
week.
got everything hot on the board, too. I'm going to tone that down just a little bit.
All right.
You had a good week? What'd you do?
We had a good week. We're having some great events happening over at Stack.
Stack Ventures, one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
We're going to... we forgot to talk about this at the top. We're doing that again this week, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we'll get back to that. More about that later, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we got a great show for you today. We have Marcus and Mike are here. But before we get to that, I want to welcome everybody. Who said wait?
I did. Weren't you going to tell us about the events you did this past week? Weren't you? I mean, you had Stack Ventures. What were you there for?
I'm just super excited, Brian.
I think my kid was at one of these events,
Dominic
wasn't he?
Was there. He came to one of our speaker events. We had AJ and Danil, who were on the show, I believe last week or within the last 2 weeks. We're back online with those events, speaker series, as well as pitch and panels. And that place is turning into the community of communities, where we bring in community partners. They run their event and we just stack it with our own. So we're just really bringing in a lot of great people, and those people will be here on the show. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you are there to build community, and I would say you're doing a great job.
Thanks, Brian. I was fishing a little bit.
How can I impact the world with this?
That's you.
All right. So I want to remind everybody also that coming up soon, we have the IIT conference. So check out IIT2026.org. That's coming up very quickly. You're not going to want to miss that. We have some great speakers going to be at that 4-day event down in Long Beach, I believe at the end of April. But again, go to IIT2026.org to check that out. And I want, of course, Brian.
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, I want to welcome.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I want to welcome everybody to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Brian Sparks, and that over there, the good man, Brian Bernasconi. The purpose of this show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact
within your own. Right? Or someplace like Stack Ventures, or someplace like Los Gatos, California.
Yeah. Big thanks to Shelly Morales.
This is Silicon Valley Impact.
Can't say it enough.
So I also want to tell people, since we're taking a little time here to tell people things, to hit that subscribe button. I noticed that our subscribes are going up. And so people must be listening. So if you haven't done it yet, this is your opportunity. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening, you can either go to YouTube or hit the follow button on whoever provides your podcasts for you. Okay.
I love that. I love that invitation, Brian. Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
so much.
Sure. Just a little gentle invitation.
Yeah. And a lot of this is made possible through our partnerships. Big thanks to Shelly Morales over at Morales HR, and also Colin Berry.
The ad fairy, not yet. We're waiting.
Yeah. And again, Colin Baring over at Baring Capital, and all things Stack Space and Stack Ventures. With that being said, let's get into it, Brian.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Enough of the shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm ready. Here we go.
We got two great individuals in the house. Welcome, Marcus. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks for having me. I want to subscribe right now. Can I do that? I want to be like, subscribe.
Yeah.
That's the energy that Brian puts out.
That's exactly what I want. Fire up YouTube.
That's how I feel.
I want you to look
open up YouTube
and go look up
right
Silicon
now.
Valley Impact and hit that subscribe button, right?
So see what I'm doing, guys? You guys got to do it right now. See, YouTube is open.
This is a now life. This is a now business. You just got to open up that phone, every single one of you, right now. And do like Mike's doing. You want to be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Play that camera, Brian. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So
because I'm over here in the corner. What other choice do I have?
While Marcus and Mike are subscribing, and while you are all subscribing, let's do quick intros, because in Silicon Valley Impact fashion, I don't do intros. Marcus, I'll start with you, buddy. Good to see you. You know what? I've been trying to get you on this show since the first time I met you at Transform, and learned a little bit about your business that's around EQ, which we're going to talk a little bit about. But please, I know you, but our audience doesn't yet. Give a little intro about yourself.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Excited to be here and have a discussion with you and Mike and learn as well as share. So my background, I spent the last 18 years in HR tech and recruiting. I started on the sales side, and my journeys took me from sales, inside sales, making 120 cold calls a day, to all the way to becoming a president of a Fortune 500 company, the Adecco, where I was responsible for digital innovation. And in the last 5 years, I've been building EQ. EQ started as a community first, and it was a community to connect people from different backgrounds, to give them access to opportunities. And we've been building AI agents to remove all the administration process from connecting like-minded humans, or humans that have an opportunity to maybe look for a new role or within sales. And so the mission of our company is zero admin. So that's the complete mission, zero admin, removing all the admin from connections. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you one thing that I think is important to know about me, which is my personal purpose, which is what I live by, which is unlocking access to opportunity through innovation, inspiration, and inclusion. So that's what I do. That's what I stand for. So whatever space we're playing in order to do that, that's me.
And the way that you have engaged with your market, the relationship you've made with the market, I think a lot of the founders who are listening and a lot of you who own businesses or even looking to design your own brand need to lean into this, because Marcus is great. And I brought in Mike as well, because Mike, you're just as skilled. I mean, of all the people we've had here about building community, sales. So this is going to be a great conversation. But again, for those who don't know you like I know you, give a little quick introduction about what you're working on and top of mind for you.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. My name is Mike Lee. I'm born and raised Bay Area, born in San Jose, high school. I'm really from San Jose. Most people that tell you that they're from the Bay Area, they're not really from the Bay Area. Yeah. But I'm like born and raised, went to local high school, did my undergrad at San Jose State. Like I live in downtown, like I'm real San Jose. So what I do for work, I do commercial real estate. So I'm a commercial broker with a company called Colliers International. We help companies, both large and small, with not only negotiating on new office spaces, but also purchase, leasing, and then just advisory. So when it comes down to like crazy stuff like, oh, I have a renewal coming up in the next month, like what does the market look like? Can I get a better rate? Like we help with that. We have a full team of brokers. Our team is called Occupier Services. So they work with small companies like NVIDIA and VTA and things like that. Small companies.
Tiny ones.
Yeah, you know, real small ones. And so we help them with a lot of strategy and a lot of like innovative tech that we're working on in the commercial real estate space and things like that. Outside of brokerage, my like fun stuff that I do, I host networking events throughout Silicon Valley. We partner with really awesome people. Like we're going to be working on some stuff together with Brian and then Jake Title and some other people, and really bringing that community back to where it should be, right? Mm-hmm. Because what a lot of people focus on too much is they want to do stuff that's industry specific. But the model of like the network events that I've started, it's your next deal is not going to come from someone in your industry, right? It's going to come from someone who's not in your industry. If we're in the same industry, we both do commercial real estate, why are you going to send me a deal when you can just do it yourself? Yeah. So let's kind of like expand it. And then so kind of talk about Marcus saying, like, what's your purpose? Like my purpose in life is really to get people connected and help them be better than what they were yesterday. Like I'm all about good energy, good vibes, and really unlocking that potential that I see that you have, that you don't see that you have. You know?
Yeah. And what's amazing is you were saying earlier, before the show even started, you have a small business as well.
Yeah. So I've owned a commercial sign company for the past 11 years this year. We do like building signs, office signs, and like internal like vinyls, all the whole 9 yards. So signage, wayfinding, stuff like that. Nice.
So again, these guys are building some great things. And those of you who are listening now, you may say to yourself, well, I'm not in real estate or I'm not in HR tech. Some of them may be saying that. But what's magic about you two, again, is how you've engaged with the market, how you've redefined, I believe, sales, because it's not so much always pitching a product, it's making the relationship. and you two have mastered that. So for those of you who have a great product, you're going to want to, again, lean in on this and take some notes on how they have succeeded in very competitive markets, because make no mistake about it, Mike, real estate is very competitive.
Very competitive.
Right? And startup is very competitive because you are always pitching, but you guys have never wavered in terms of building the relationship and building community and providing value at the top of what you're doing. So again, those of you listening, put that framework around what these guys are talking about, because you're not going to walk away empty-handed from this conversation. All right, so let's dive into it. Marcus, I want to start with you. Give us a little run-up. Did when you were a kid, did you imagine you'd be driving a startup at some point? What put this in your bones that you had to build your own? What were some of these early stage influences in your life that kind of guided you towards building a business? What give us the beginning.
Yeah, so I grew up in an environment which was very competitive, as athletic environment. My dad was an Olympian. He was a fighter. I grew up as a fighter as a kid, and then went into professional sports, soccer. After that, not that fighting wasn't a sport, but I kind of always wanted to be the best in my category, which whatever I was doing. My dad, he was actually a kitchen fitter, like heavy lifting, going in, like moving stuff. And my granddad, he moved from Nigeria to the UK, and on his passport, it just said businessman. That was it. Like, he was just businessman. My mum's Jamaican, so I grew up kind of in that environment in London. And I always just thought to myself, at one point, I want to run a company. It's funny, I remember it about 9 or 10. I didn't really know what a company was. I was like, I just want to run a company.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it was about freedom and creating something on an ongoing basis and delivering value. So I've always kind of had that in my book. And so when did it first come out? We had this thing in the UK called Record of Achievement, where you write like what you're going to do in the future. And I said I was going to be a professional footballer and I'm going to run a business. Professional football, I got to college level. I played for professional teams as a kid. Got some injuries, thought I was better than I was, but the business thing, I just went for it. And yeah, it was just all about continuing to create and showing people what's possible. So
when you were in college, were you in the States at that point, or was it you were still overseas?
Yeah, no. So I've been in the US for the last 8 years. So I was still overseas. I had a birthday just on a weekend, which is I'm probably ashamed to say the exact age.
No, let it rip.
I had a 42nd birthday, so I've been here for 8 years. And
you said you're 42?
Yeah, young, look like a young man. Yeah,
42, man. Dude. 42, 2 kids, wife, doing all that stuff. Partying's died down. I'm out here just building a business. Right?
Yeah, I love it.
So, I've just always been somebody that wanted to do more than the environment I grew up in, and the people that were around me, and really always felt like there is more. Yeah. So what's the next level? What's the next level? How do we continue? And never really been someone competing with others. I don't really think in that way. I feel about creating my own lane and own categories and then bringing people through.
So a lot of our listeners and a lot of our guests have been in here. And I got to say, people who have immigrated and landed in Silicon Valley and built have been the most resilient, gritty people I've met in the world with the best stories. What was it about coming to the U.S. 8 years ago that really brought out the best of you? Because it sounds like you had great role models growing up. You had this competitive edge. You were in sports, which I found people who are military in sports kind of make for great sales and creators and leaders. But what was it that said, okay, I got to go to a whole new country, build something, bring my family with me? Or maybe at the time, 8 years ago, you didn't have the family, but either way, you still came to a place where you didn't have the resources. Talk a little bit about that process, because our listeners may have to pivot at some point. And from your experience, they'll be able to hear what were the resources you grabbed onto and what was the mindset.
Yeah, so it was a little bit unorthodox. I felt like I was kind of meant to be in the US years ago. So my grand's one of 13, half moved to the US and then half moved to the UK. We're Jamaican. And I always came back and forth between here and Queens in New York. And then so when I was 19, I was meant to have a football scholarship and do it in Miami. I didn't get the grades that I needed to in order to do that. And the reason was I had to take a test that was just not in the syllabus that I had, and I just thought I could rush it and go through. So then I got knocked back, went to a company, careerbuilder.com. I started there at 23 years old. I was trying to convince people, look, instead of advertising in a newspaper, you might want to use this thing called the internet and like put your ads online. So that was like my first thing. CareerBuilder was meant to move me to the US. They said at the level that you're at, you can't move over to the US. So then third time lucky, I became the global president of innovation for Adecco. And there was an opportunity, I was in corporate in Switzerland, there was an opportunity to run one of the businesses that was under me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take a dip and then go and run this business. I knew that I had to kind of do some dirty work and shut it down and whatever. But once I got here, I was ready to start a business. And I think the big thing, the one thing that I've noticed about being in the US is the opportunity, if you come in with the right mindset, is endless. And if you come with a mindset to help other people versus what you can take, it's endless again, because you give a different perspective and everybody is trying to make it in some way, shape or form. And I think in other markets, it just, the mindset is a lot smaller. Here, you can do anything. And I think that I was personally built for that.
I think a lot of people hear that. And Mike, I want you to jump in on this because we're going to now take a look at kind of like what were your experiences that brought you to where you are at now. But I think what you just said is interesting, Marcus, because I believe people think in the U.S. that they can do anything, right? There's this idea that they can do anything, but is it possible for them? And one thing that you were talking about in your opening is access. And so there's this combination of like, well, I can do anything if I have access. But a lot of people believe the doors are closed to them or they don't initiate access. Go ahead.
Just one thing. A way to guarantee that you can't do it is to believe that you can't do it.
Yeah.
So if you think you can't do it, there's no way you can do it.
Yeah.
So you have to have that switch, and then you got to have a bunch of luck. You got to have the access. You got to have people around you, and things have to fall into place.
Yeah. Did you say luck?
Yeah.
Okay, but distinguish between this is where it's going to get good. And then again, Mike, I want to bring you in with your run up. I believe in total luck. Like you position yourself in the arena, in the environment where you can create your own luck. But however, it's not an exact science, right? So there is a little bit about positioning and then a little bit of luck. How do you build your own luck? I think
I'm the biggest proponent of luck. I think luck is you put yourself in the opportunity and you're ready for when it happens, right? Because I will tell you, just all of us being here sitting in this room is luck, right? Just for all of us be here sitting together. Like there's so many things that had to go into play years before for us to be sitting here in this room together, right? I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world, right? And I say that because there's rooms I should never have sat in. There's rooms I should never have been in when I was like 18 years old. How did I get in there? Somebody was like, hey, Mike, come here and just come, just show up, right? The biggest thing is showing up, and people don't show up.
Yeah.
And I look at it like this. Access is one thing. You can force access into places. You just got to be willing to just risk it all, right? I'll give you a great story. So when I first got my license to go into brokerage for commercial real estate, and there was this guy that I really looked up to in the industry. You always want to find someone that you really look up to. And he was speaking at this event. I didn't have tickets. I didn't buy the event. My friend goes, hey, this guy James is at this event. Like I said, cool. What I do, I put on a suit. I snuck in. I just walked in as if I was supposed to.
You got resourceful.
I was very resourceful. And so he was speaking on stage. I showed up late, and he was speaking on stage. He was a panelist. He came down. He walked through the room. He's like, hey, I'm leaving. I said, hey, James, I know this is crazy. I'm a big fan. And he stopped in his tracks and said, okay, what's up? I said, dude, I just want to take 15 minutes of your time. If you give me your phone number, I just want to sit down and talk to you. And that's it. And he said, all right, here's my number. Text. We sat down. We had a meeting.
Okay, I heard two things from both of you. If we can break it down to characteristics, I heard number one, well, the loudest one was the vulnerability. Leaving your comfort zone, whether it be your own country right? Or leaving your seat and going up to somebody and introducing yourself. There's this radical vulnerability that you take yourself out of a comfort zone and throw yourself into the position you need to create that luck. The other thing that I'm hearing is humility. Oh, there's a third: humility and gratitude. Like the opportunity, like when you were saying we're all sitting here through a series of events that led up to this moment, I felt from you, number one, humility, but also gratitude. And I think when you radiate those character qualities, what you need starts coming towards you.
Yeah, look, to Mike's point as well, there's a certain baseline that you need in order for that to be true. Yeah. So there's a war going on outside somewhere, and I'm lucky not to be there, and as are we.
Yeah.
So if you're in, and there's a war going on outside somewhere, and somebody's 2 years old, that's not lucky, right? So you kind of, it's like Maslow's law, right? You kind of get the first level that you need. You get the food, the shelter. And it's like, what are you going to do with that? So Mike's point and my story of getting a job at Adecco was exactly the same. There was a guy speaking on stage. He was the group CEO of Adecco. After his panel, I went up to him and I said, look, really enjoyed the panel. Would love to see if we can have a conversation with you to see if we can help you with your business because I've seen X and X. I was with one of the presidents of my division. This guy invited me to Switzerland. We flew out to Switzerland. We didn't sign the deal. 2 months later, they called me back and then said to me, we want you to do Adecco TV. I sat on Adecco TV, done well. 6 months later, they said, we're looking for a global head of innovation. I had no college degree. It was between me and somebody at Microsoft on $2-3 million a year.
Yeah.
I went and took it. And so it's just being ready. And the president who I was with at the time, Eric, really good friend of mine, investor in my business, he's gone on to great heights. And we keep, like, I've known him for years. We bump into each other at airports.
Yeah.
Like randomly.
Yeah.
All over the world. So there's this vibration. And if you can connect to the vibration and you're ready to receive it, it's there. But you have to have a certain baseline.
Yeah.
Well, and the one thing I want to take a step back is, I wanted to say this earlier. I feel like struggle breeds success. Give you some background about my life. So I grew up pretty well off until 2008. My family pretty much lost everything. My parents got divorced. Me, my mom, my sister were legally homeless for about a year. And I was still going to private school. And I was tutoring, I was working, I was paying my own way through private school. And
how old were you at the time?
Probably like 15, 16.
And finding a way to kind of contribute.
Find a way because the value was there. And then people started to find out that, hey, Mike's paying for his own tuition. Like, dude, this is a guy that we want to keep here. And so my last 2 years of high school, my last year and a half was paid for by somebody else. So I went to Valley Christian. And so my last 2 years were paid for by somebody else. And that was just being in that environment of people that, high net worth kids, you have network of people that are going all different places, all different companies. It helped me to understand, okay, where am I at in the world? Like what is my position that I'm in? And it helped me be very grateful for where I'm at, helped me be very humble and say, okay, I know the value that I bring and I know what I've been through. And I can say, I look at my life, I say, it's not gonna be as bad as that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have a roof over my head and it helped me understand that, okay, what do I have to do to never be back there again? For myself, for my mom, for my sister, like, what do I got to do that? Right. And then that's really what drives me every day is like my family. And it's like, okay, so I'm building this, I'm doing this, but I know that my baseline is always covered.
Yeah.
So if shit happens, okay, cool, great, whatever. And now my mentality is the hardest part of my day should be my workout.
So I'm hearing one thing, and Brian, I know there's a little jingle coming up soon, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but it sounds like you've has two different perspectives. One, what it's like to have what you need. And then what it's like to almost be like in survival mode. And a lot of founders are oftentimes at both ends of that spectrum.
Yeah.
It's where they know what the pain point is. They can feel it. They want to solve it. And then they get the high of knowing that they have the solution within them or within their product. And that polarity, I think, is what keeps you out of that, what we were talking earlier, kind of that victim mindset and thinking that you can do anything, right? And I think perspective on life is what positions you to to have the right mentality moving forward?
And like you have to have that mentality. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you have to. There always has to be a part of you that's in that constant. For you to grow, you have to be in that constant sense of survival, right? Like, I'm never comfortable, right? And some of my friends hate it. They're like, "Dude, Mike, like you've achieved a lot of stuff." I said, "But as soon as I get comfortable, then where's my growth?"
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. All right. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about that. But Brian, what you got going on over there?
Well,
Great. And that is, again, Shelly Morales. And you've got to connect with her on LinkedIn. Great human being. Marcus, you know Shelly.
I do know Shelly. Shelly's a customer of EQ.
Yeah. She's amazing. And Morales HR is amazing. So I want to thank them for the partnership. All right. So we're again, understanding the character of really what built who we were up to this point so that then we could get into the marketplace, compete, because there's a lot of competitiveness in the marketplace, but ultimately competition, the win is impact.
Correct.
So let's, Marcus, I want to shift towards you, and then I'm going to come back to, how you built, Mike, how you built community. We're going to talk high level about sales and how you really put people first. But Marcus, let's talk a little bit about EQ.
Sure.
Why EQ? What is this? What really drove you to, pursue talent?
So many people probably already know this, but EQ is, even though it's a Q, stands for emotional intelligence, right? Emotional quotation. And I think that that's the most important human skill. And it's something I don't want to forget, even though we build AI agents for technology, sales and recruiting. So I thought to myself, if I could connect people in one space and help them get access to opportunities, then it's kind of a win-win-win. And my background was been in the recruiting space. And this was a time around COVID where more people wanted to connect online. So we started to bring people into a community that was online, virtual, and then have physical meetups as well. And what I was noticing is that I was able to connect people who wanted to get a job, maybe a job that was a little bit more senior than what they were currently doing. And we needed an environment in order to do that. But there was a lot of admin in that process. So we started to remove all the admin through leveraging AI. Then we started building products. Our first product was EQ Buddy. Then after that, we started building AI agents. But then people who were in those businesses also needed sales. So we started building agents for sales. So it was all about connecting people. Because I've done sales and recruiting, I feel like sales and recruiting they're very similar. You're just trying to connect people with the right opportunity, whether you're selling something or whether there's a job. So that's what brought me to it. And it was fun just connecting people and getting them access.
And you're so good at it. And I'm sure a lot of the investors that you dealt with, if you dealt with investors, there appears to be founder fit here. But the question I naturally have, and again, I'm asking this for our audience, is, HR, recruiting, tech, AI, building, the necessary agents at this point is very competitive in terms of business. What did you do to convince yourself, if you dealt with investors, what did you do to convince yourself to them? But more importantly, what did you do to get buy-in from the market?
Yeah, so I didn't do the former, I only done the latter. So I didn't raise any money right at the start. I started building the business and connecting with customers. So customers then validated, if you're willing to pay for something, I know there's a business there. So I stuck really, really close to the customers. And only after we got customers, I took a small angel round with some friends who happen to be CEOs of companies that have also done well. And then as time went on, I never asked for money. And that could be to my downfall. I wanted to show people an opportunity. So I always gave before I took. And we've done that with our Substack. Our Substack's like 130,000 followers. We get 1 million views a month on our stuff. But it's all about helping people on the next level. And then people just come in. Because I think the number one way that you generate high quality sales is through referral. And it's the same for recruiting. But it's hard to manufacture that.
Yeah.
And it's not about, people say it's okay. It's like, who do you know in business? Who do you know? It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you.
Yeah.
And if you can figure that out, people come inbound.
So what is emotions behind that? You talk about you gave value, you provided. What were some of the emotions behind that?
So really quick, and a simple thing that I do now is like, if anyone's got a LinkedIn and they partner with us, and we've done that with one of the customers that we were talking about previously, is like, look, go to your LinkedIn, download all your contacts. Okay, go to your LinkedIn and download all your contacts. What you realize, you get first name, you get last name, and then you're going to have a gap in there with email and contact details. We built an enrichment agent that enriches all of that with all the email addresses, all the contact information. That was my first email list. So I ported that over to Substack.
That's not a natural motion of LinkedIn. You built that in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go to you take your data. And then we built a product around that. So I used it for myself, enriched the list, and I had 20,000 people. Then we built another product, which is called Scout, going out and finding new people. Then I found similar people that matched with that. And we continued to build that community and kept the open rate high. And then it was about, okay, well, what else, other value can you deliver? Can I deliver you with a PDF that's going to be practical to help you with your job? Can I tell you about the market, some of the trends that are going on? And then people would say, keep going. This is super helpful. Sometimes you get air, no one would respond.
And you weren't taking a return on this at all. You were just providing this value add because you wanted to prove your weight in gold at that point, but just by being of service.
That was exactly it. And then we generated more and more referrals, and we've never, and for somebody that made 120 like cold calls every day, I never wanted to make a cold call again. Not because I wasn't good at it, but I knew there's a better way.
Yeah.
And things evolve. And like I said at the start, I'm trying to convince people, don't advertise in a newspaper when you can use the internet. I'm like, don't call people 100 times when you can get them to come inbound if you figure out what the problem is they're going to solve. No one cares about my product.
Yeah.
I don't even care about my product. I care about what you want to get done and how I can help you along that journey.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's so good. I'm definitely going to come back on this, but Mike, I want to bring you in on this. You're just like leaning in because I know you're a sponge in life. I want to go back to your first business. Again, you born and raised in San Jose, San Jose State graduate. When was it after you got out? Maybe it was in college, maybe it was at, during high school. When did you realize that you thought, okay, people and community are the way to success? And then translate that into, I wanted to build something.
Yeah, so I want to make one comment that, Marcus, you said. I want to elaborate. People buy from people, not companies. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. I'm going to do a quick little, not a long monologue, but a short one.
Yeah.
You go to your favorite bar. Let's say you order a vodka cranberry. You can get it anywhere, any bar, anywhere you want to go. You go to that same bar for the bartender and the ambiance that it brings. You can get that same drink anywhere that you want. That just proves just naturally people buy from people, not companies. Like, people, when you realize that people want to buy from who you are versus the company you work for, it puts you a million yards ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
And so when was that inflection point you said, right? So I started my first business when I was like 15. I was doing like IT work. That's what kind of helped me raise funds to, help my family move into our first apartment, do all this stuff. And what kind of made me realize that whole phenomenon of people buy from people, it's the people that helped me, right? I'm not saying I did all this by myself. Like, there's people that helped me and said, hey, Mike, here's how you should do this, or here's the process, because I've done it before. Mentorship. It's some people may not realize they're a mentor to you, but they are, because you watch the stuff that they do. You spend a lot of time with them. And I look at it like this. I've talked to my therapist about it. It's like, hey, there are people in your life that you realize you're attracted to their energy because they fulfill something that you didn't realize that you needed fulfilled. It's like, hey, you give me this insight of like okay, here's your mentality on, certain aspects of business. Okay, cool. That resonates with me. Okay, cool. Someone else says, hey, here's how marketing works. Here's how we do things. Just from a business perspective, there's mentors that you can have just by reading their books, and you just understand that, and then you use that to create your own framework of who you are as a person, help you drive forward. And I realized that when I was younger, probably my 20s, and then there was a moment where when I was going to college, I was voted a most social engineer. I did my undergrad for computer engineering, and they used to call me Mike the free agent. Okay, and the reason behind that, so a bunch of my friends were Greek, trying to get me to join the fraternities, everything else, and I was just at all the fraternity events, like the parties and everything else, hanging out, mingling, And that was when I graduated. Like you said, you have that network of 20,000 people that you download through LinkedIn. That whole network followed me out of college. Because I had my own business. People are like, dude, how do you get started? I'm like, dude, hey, here's what I did. Here's how it works. Like, I'm an open book for 90% of things. And it's like, hey, yeah, I did this, this, and this. I'm not going to tell you exactly how I did. Not give them my secret sauce, but I went through this process. And when you ask me, say, hey, well, how can I meet someone like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got you. Just like earlier, we're talking about some stuff. So, I got the perfect guy for you. Here, get his info, go.
Well, I think that's the abundance mindset that you guys were talking about earlier. I mean, sure, your personal strategy, your secret sauce, you keep close to the vest, but really relationships and abundance of people is where you've both thrived early. And this idea that, connecting others to each other for benefit for them, not you, is really what brings more people into your life. So you have this blue ocean mentality of like anything's possible through people. It's a flywheel that I think a lot of people who are listening right now don't see that they may have that superpower as well. And you tapped into it early. And it sounds like you then took that into business to kind of help with the family early, but then you started the marketing company. How old were you when you started the marketing company?
So I got into IT when I was like, my dad used to work at Cisco, so I knew how to play with computers since I was a kid. So 16, I started an IT company. 18, I switched into marketing when I went to college. And then I transitioned into commercial signs during pandemic because I'm working in a world of intangible products. And people didn't see value in intangible products when outsourcing was such a big thing, like the price point for onshore stuff. So then I switched into tangible products like print and signage. Okay, cool. I have it here. You like it? Cool, great. Boom. You have it. Now you'll pay for it.
What made you think? So why signage? Why marketing? Why that route? What was it within you that said, okay, whatever I do, okay, I have the foundation of people, but now marketing was a good place to go? What was that within you that said that?
I mean, like, I love people, right? I'm a people first guy. Like, I love people. I love hearing stories. I love like just understanding who you are and brought you here to this day. And it's kind of that in my innate nature to do that, to like understand that.
Yeah.
And marketing was something that I felt resonated with me until I realized that I just love boring business. Right? Like, I love things that are boring that you can innovate on, that people haven't innovated on for years.
Yeah. So I want to point this out. I mean, this is in the startup world or even in small business or any entrepreneurship sector that we may have looked at, is in Silicon Valley, I think the world over. I think the intellectual capacity, I say this all the time, so track me for a minute. The intellectual capacity to start a business only goes so high. It's like learning chess, which I love. You can learn how all the pieces move, but really the winners have a different strategy. And so you can learn how all the pieces move to start a business, to do a venture. That only goes so high. The other part of small business and venture is theater, marketing, sales, relationships. And when you can succeed in that, you're way ahead of the game, because I have often seen, sitting on panels, being a part of due diligence, that the best product doesn't always win. And that's why when you'll hear from investors all the time, who's on your team? I'm sure, Marcus, you get this all the time. Tell me about your team. And, you haven't gone through the gauntlet of VCs, but even still, people are wondering who's on your team. Who are you working with? Have you, been with this team through other ventures before? And this idea that marketing, right, is so important, because marketing then leads to sales, but marketing is also informing people who you are. I think we all have two brands. We have our company's brand, and then we have the CEO's brand. And I think there's also, which you guys have mastered, that I'm really gearing up to do a long tail on, is you two have this, what I'm designing as a give to market strategy. You can't just go to market anymore because people know that AI can do that for you. People want authenticity. So giving to market, give to market before you go to market is really where the relationships and the trust happen. Go ahead, Marcus.
You just blew my mind.
Well, thank you, Brian. But there's one more thing.
No, I want to see if you want to stop for just a minute. That seemed like a good breaking point.
Yeah,
give me
the jingle.
Do you want the jingle?
Give me the jingle. Yeah, I know my cue.
I forgot the jingle, but you're up for our next.
This is my time to shine.
Speaking of giving and being grateful.
Yeah,
right?
Stack Ventures.
Yeah, come on.
Fits that. Community of communities. So if you want to partner with us, do an event there, we want to stack, no pun intended, communities. It's really it's a beehive of activity.
But you've been doing that. That's your role. And you've been doing a great job. I said that before, I think at the top of the show, but Brian Sparks is, one of the guys is partly responsible for stacking those communities. You're doing a great job.
This is Silicon Valley Impact.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, the whole team.
Say it enough.
We're basically the hub right here at Silicon Valley Impact, right? We're the hub, and all the spokes go out from here.
Yeah. All right. I go on and on, but I need to calm down.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I'm going to go down
You're
the rabbit
doing great.
hole.
You didn't get too excited at all.
All right. Let's move on. All right. So go ahead, Marcus. We were talking about this give to market strategy, and I saw you lean into the mic, so you had something top of mind.
Yeah, I think the currency is shifting from dollars to trust. Mm-hmm. And I think the way that you build trust is that you give first. So I completely agree as far as how do you think about really helping people with the product or service or whatever you're delivering get value. The other thing that I was thinking about is around like, why do you give? And you're talking about, whether it's your secret sauce or not your secret sauce. Mm-hmm. If you're in a community and you're in an ecosystem and you help someone do something, what people forget is if I help someone do something and I help them become stronger, isn't that they owe me, is that they become stronger. So your network becomes stronger.
Yeah.
The more you invest in your network, the more the people around you that you're with become stronger. And your job is to go back out and learn something else and then come back. So every time they come back, you're exchanging.
Yeah.
And as you exchange, you build this strength around you and your network then reinforces you. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the reasons I do it. If you're with me, I'm with you. Yeah. And it's as simple as that. And I will help you to be as strong as you want to be, because I know when you're stronger, not that you're going to give back, but it makes the community stronger.
Yeah, last week we had Richard on, and he was the head of the leadership EQ. I believe it was Amazon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right?
Honestly, I can't remember. You're looking at me, but I don't know the answer.
Yeah, we could be. So Richard, sorry, but it was just last week. Richard's amazing, but he's been speaking to hundreds of thousands of people around the importance of EQ. He has his own consulting company now around helping people develop that skill set. And one thing that really resonated with me in that conversation, it's true with what you're saying in a different form right now, is when you can give somebody a sense of significance or tap into that sense of significance within themselves by empowering them or positioning them or giving them access to something, that bonds a relationship, builds a community faster than anything else.
Yep.
And I think, I mean, Mike, you do this so well. You would, before the show started, you and Brian were talking about who you knew in the real estate, and you could name everyone by name. You said, "Oh, this guy's got blonde hair. Oh, that's this guy. That could be this guy. This guy." When you make an intro to somebody who's important to you, to someone who you may just have met, you're saying you're significant to me, and the person I'm introducing you to is significant. And that's what I love about connectors, and that's what you both do is you're connectors. You're saying both ends of this connection that has nothing to do with me are significant people. So if you want to do something grand in terms of give to market, sure, look for those motions that do something grand and consistent. But there's the small gestures. Let me introduce you to somebody.
Well, I want to say two very important things. When I first started my career, I was very intro everyone to everyone. Mm-hmm. But I realized you can't do that, right? You have to, like, if I'm going to introduce someone to Marcus, that person has to really be someone that's going to be of value, and it's really going to be, they can connect and it's going to make sense, whether it's a friendship or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But when I was younger, I was like, oh yeah, I got you, I'll help you out. And then a lot of people let me down, hey, I'm looking for a job. Cool, great. Hey, I got this person. They're good. I didn't really know them like that, but I put my name on it, and then they didn't perform, which then devalues my like referral. So over the past 5 years, I've really focused on, hey, here's who I am, and you know me, and I want you to trust me that I'm introducing you to this person.
Yeah.
And then have a conversation with that person. I say, hey, can I swear on the podcast now?
Let it rip.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because this person, like, Marcus is doing a million things today, and he's taking time out of his valuable day with his family, with his work, with everything that he's doing to speak to you, right? Yeah. And I want you to make an impact when you're there.
So it's very curated. Yeah, to kind of close that loop,
like,
what I'm hearing, very
I've
curated.
I've had to close the loop over the years. And my second thing, I want startup founders and people to realize you may not have the same sauce in terms of meeting people and being out there. You may be very introverted, but work within what your superpower is, right? Yeah. Like, understand what you're good at. And one thing that I really, really like to tell people, because I work with a lot of startups, I say, be you. Don't be someone that you aren't. Mm-hmm. And earlier I talked about there's people in my life that add value to me and I'd add value to them. Find the people that are strong in your weaknesses. And that's how you build a quality team.
And so that begs the question, or identifies what needs to be said, is like, just as well as you may know your strengths, know your weakness.
You have to know your weaknesses.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm not good at.
Yeah.
I'm not a technical guy, right? I don't like to be sitting in the weeds. I don't like doing technical work. Like, I like to be out, meeting people, grow. But when it comes time to build the systems and everything else,
says the young IT consultant.
Says the young IT guy. I'm good at it, but it's not my strong suit, right? But let's find someone who's extremely technical.
Yeah.
That can support me, and we vibe with each other, Yeah. So for founders that are very technical but want to get their stuff to go to market, work with a company like Marcus, work with the Brian and partner and sponsor events, and figure out how you can expand your reach by working through your network.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. So I want to, so many good directions to go, but I want to ask you guys, we've talked a little bit about your histories, kind of your skill sets around sales, building communities, but what's next for you guys? Marcus, you've got so much on your plate. Things are, sounding great for you, but what's next for you?
So again, kind of going to that purpose of unlocking access to opportunity, the mission that I'm on is zero admin. Mm-hmm. So I'm just really trying to remove all the admin from connecting humans within sales and within the recruiting space. So it's really about us growing. Mm-hmm. So we've built a platform, we have products and services, and now it's about going after problems that deliver a big ROI.
What's real quick? Is there a website or is there a landing?
Yeah, so there's a couple of sites you can go to. EQ.app. You can find that, and if you prefer a .com, you can go to EQmembers.com. So and you'll see what we do, and then
who's looking for you? Like, what is that ideal customer profile?
Ideal customer. I'd say there's two customers. One is running a small business and they're stuck in spreadsheets, and they're either in recruiting.
Small business, or just a small in terms of venture?
Small business as far as they have some kind of professional service, typically in recruiting, staffing and recruiting businesses. And then the other that we're seeing a lot more is private equity firms are reaching out for us to help with digital and AI transformations. So that was my job that I'd done at Adecco. So now we're building AI agents for all of the workflows and full-scale transformation. So our small businesses, like our speedboat, you can go online, you can check out our products for free, use your credit card and sign up, and you'll have a team. And then we do AI transformations.
Okay, I got to ask this question, and I'm sure, Mike, you see this a lot because you're dealing in commercial real estate. Companies are growing. I have a lot of conversations with C-suites around their AI strategy. If we had an audience of C-suite individuals right here who went to their last meeting and they're asking, hey, who wants to take on the chief AI strategist? We need some sort of strategy. And thinking from top down transformation, what high level advice would you give them about that 0 to 1 first step into transformation in the AI generation?
Hire Marcus.
We can help. Look, there's a lot of noise. So the first thing is you've got to cut through the noise and you've got to set out your business principles. And sort of the question you asked me, what's next? Have a vision and then back into that vision. And then ask yourself the question, can AI help us get there?
What if they just don't know?
Well, for the start of it, you've got to figure out, like, what are you trying to do? So if I'm trying to go to Mount Everest, there's probably a chance that I want a certain type of equipment to help me get there faster. So wherever you're trying to go, I'm not going to want a bicycle, even though it's good sense of transportation. I'm not going to want it for that journey. So you've got to have that vision. That's kind of one thing. Now, within that vision, there's a couple of compartments that you can operate in. So you've got outright productivity. Can I make what I'm doing more productive? And that might be internal. Then you have, what can your customers see? How can you make your customer experience better with whatever you're selling? And then the final thing is outright innovation. What would happen if an AI company started tomorrow in our industry? How would they think about leapfrogging? So once you do those kind of three pieces of work, you have an understanding of your framework and strategy, but it really goes down to the problem you're trying to solve. And then looking at what the technology can do. Now, I think there's one nuance to this from digital transformation. Within AI, we're not really sure exactly what the capabilities are. So the first thing I always said to everyone before we're kind of past this phase a little bit is play. You have to have a sandbox where you've got people they can play. They can test and experiment, but measure what you're trying to achieve.
So I heard something I want to click on for a second. Is you said there's a lot of noise.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people ask themselves when they hear the noise, number one, they can't figure out the difference between noise and signal.
Yeah.
Like what's going to really move the needle. But I think it comes down to what you very quickly said, was there are those who say, with all this AI stuff, going on, what do I do first? That shouldn't be the question. The question should be, what problem do I want to solve? And I think whether you are a C-suite and trying to deploy an AI strategy, or you're a startup, you need to start with the question of what problem am I trying to solve, rather what should I do next?
If I give you some painkillers, what is that good for?
Killing pain.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right,
Mike.
Thank you.
and then so, but then if you come in and we then have a further discussion and I say, here's these painkillers and I'm a doctor. And you're like, but you don't know what's wrong with me, right? Whether it's my leg, my head, or whatever. Like, people are prescribing. You need an AI doctor. People are prescribing the wrong things before they figure out what's wrong. They just say, these shiny things, let me just get on it.
Yeah.
And so one of the big things, and we've kind of been talking about this a lot, and we didn't mention it in so many times, you have to reflect. With all the noise, don't you just got to sit down, take a deep breath, and just think about what the hell is going on? Because the noise, the news feed is feeding us calories we didn't ask for, and it's coming up with so much stuff, so much noise, it's hard to cipher through.
Yeah.
So that's why you have a good team, you have sparring partners, mentors, as you mentioned, people that you can have conversation with in a trusted environment, figure out what is really going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the analogy of sparring partners. Like, I feel so you should have your core group of people that will come at you and say, this is a horrible idea, or say, this is a great idea, and poke holes in it. A lot of people in Silicon Valley are very yes man. Yes, yeah, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Tell me why it's bad. Like, I want to know what's wrong. Like, don't just tell me it's good because you know me. Like, I want someone that we can go back and forth with, you know, say, okay, cool, great. All right, that worked. Okay, cool. That like didn't work. Mm-hmm. And I think that is super important.
Especially when people have got good intentions as well. And you know it's coming from a good place, and there's a trust there, and you're like, is that a bit crazy? Well, yeah, maybe it is. The AIs that are killing things in a negative way right now, the ones saying, oh, that's absolutely a great idea, telling your idea is great all the time. I'm like, well, why is this a great idea? So the skill, and we didn't talk about this, but the skill of the critical thinking, being able to critically think through situations at all times without being negative, because we talked about being positive, is one of the things that's that balance approach that you need.
Yeah. I think that's where it really comes down to being a good people leader. Personal relationships or professional relationships, if you can address, number one, there needs to be the devil's advocate in the room, right? There needs to be somebody who gives you the opposite side. That's going to naturally create a conflict. But the conflict is for the purpose of growth, not for somebody to win. It's like, how can we stress test what's good, watch what breaks, and keep building on what holds?
That's what Mike said earlier, even with going through adversity, right? Like, there's something about adversity that makes you stronger and as you grow.
Yeah.
And it's that friction that you need. It's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and it's easy every day, you're not pushing yourself.
Yeah. And
so you need growing pains. And everyone wants the easy button. And the easy button comes after you figure out where you got to put the energy.
That's why I love when you said sparring partner. Like, I just loved that so much, because it's like when you're in the gym and you're, like you said, you used to be a fighter, and you're not going to get better if you're not going to fight someone better or someone that's different, right? Like, you need a good sparring partner. And I just love it so much. I might get it tattooed on me. You know, like, it is just so good. Just if you think about it in that mindset, that mentality, I think you'll go years ahead. I
got two Mike Tyson quotes that I love, and one of them is, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face.
True.
And the second one is, it's one step from the limousine to the gutter. Those are the two things that it's like, it's one step from your limousine to the gutter, and everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. So shout out Mike Tyson.
Shout out Mike
I'm
Tyson.
sorry, it's one step from the limousine to the what?
To the gutter.
To the gutter, yeah.
To the gutter.
Yeah.
Gutter. Thank you. Hit those R's, boy.
So Mike, I got to ask you again. I think you're so good at building community and, at sales. For our audience, just top of mind, this may be just completely going off the rails, but really kind of like a technical takeaway.
Yeah.
Talk really quick about 1 to 3. Pick one. What has been your success in sales that our audience could grab onto and implement instantly?
Yeah, I think I talked about it. I've touched on it a little bit. People buy from people, not companies.
Mm-hmm.
There are, in Silicon Valley, active brokers in commercial real estate. There's about 300 active brokers, right? Active people that actually do deals. It's like less than 200. And we all have the same information. Like, we all have the same technology. We all have the same access. And it's very... it's very rare where someone has an edge over somebody else. But why do you choose to work with me? Because I give you a few things. I'm very honest. I'll tell you not to do a deal. I'll say, hey, this is a really shitty deal. Like, you may want to get into this, but I think we should fight for it. I think there's a better opportunity. And I've talked myself out of deals. Say, honestly, you probably shouldn't even leave the space you're in. The other thing, it's, for me personally, it goes back to being real. Like, I want to have a real relationship with you as we're going through, we're doing stuff. And the third thing is, like, make things fun and exciting, right? Like let's smile, let's have conversation, let's talk more than just work, so that we can build that deeper connection. So I know exactly, like, okay, I know who you are, and it's not just this is one deal, but how can I help you outside of this deal?
Yeah.
It's all about value add, because as a broker, yeah, I work with you for your real estate, but I have a network of people, right? We can say, hey, Brian's having this event with private jets and cool cars. Like, why don't you come with me? You can meet some other people that I think would be good for you to, you know, to expand into some stuff you're doing personally. Oh, your son's looking for a job. Hey, I know this guy who's owns this electrician company. Hey, let me introduce you. Like, we need to figure out who you are, right? And if you're the kind of person that wants to take things to the next level versus just transactional, like, how can I support your business, but how can I support you? You know, and people slip on that. If that's who you are as a person, right? That's who I am. It's, yeah, there's a transaction aspect to it. Cool, we can do deals, but it's, how can I help you with things that you can't get help with outside of this?
Yeah.
Some founders, similar to myself, have got businesses where they want to make money while they're sleeping. And so they're not always there, right? So you got B2C and then you got B2B. So, and sometimes people don't know who they're doing business with, right? But they can see the representation as your website, or it's your ad, or it's your network, or it's your community reinforcing. So to your point, just around making it fun, one of the things our values is a vibe. So make sure that they can feel the vibe, because I used to think back in the day, like, branding was about your logo and all that. It doesn't even matter. It's how do people feel when they interact with your product or service or you. So it's going to be you first, great. Second might be your second in line, your team, so we have a team. And then the third might be the actual product when they're online. And then the fourth, the best one, is when somebody tells someone about your product or service.
Yeah.
So that referral, like, what are people saying when you walk out the room?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. This is such a great conversation. Do you want to add to it?
Yeah, I feel like you really pushed on the community aspect things, right? So Brian has an amazing community of people in the startup world where you can kind of tap in and say, okay, you know, how can we get involved with, you know, your company and investors and things like that? I have a great community of people that are outside of the startup world where it's like, yeah, I might be in professional services. I might own a cannabis business. I might be a hairdresser. I might own a bar. I might, you know, own a building, whatever. It's the reason why community is important is because I think I said it earlier before we started recording. It's your next deal isn't going to come from someone in your industry. So how can we bridge the gap? And that's how the stuff that, you know, we're working on in the future. It's how can we get people that aren't necessarily in the same industry, but creating that also fun aspect, but also how can we bring those two together between service provider and venture capitalist, or service provider and company, or so on and so forth. Like, how can we make it a real community? Because there's two types. There's industry specific and then there's outside industry. And I think having that good blend of both is what makes Silicon Valley Silicon Valley.
I think what you both are good at, and we were talking about this earlier, before the show even started, is they hear, you talked about vibe. They hear values, they feel vibe, and they make connection. Oh, this would be a good connection. Even when you walked in, you looked at Brian and you said your aura is you're a musician.
100%.
Yeah. So is that something innate, or could that be, do you think it could be taught?
To be honest, okay, I will tell you how this is like how I kind of became who I am.
We're going deep on this one.
We're going real deep. We're going real deep. So when I turned 21 years old, I had this feeling that I'm going to go out every single weekend and just talk to people. So every Friday, every Saturday, I went out to different places, networking events, bars, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, networking events, bars, restaurants. And I just talked to people because I felt like it was a weakness of mine where, like, yeah, I can talk, but I'm not having a productive conversation, right? And you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation where you can walk in a room and say, hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Mike. Like, how you doing? You know, like, most of my conversations don't really revolve around work, you know? Like, I've actually known Brian for a long time, and we've never talked about work until, like, last year. Yeah. You know? And it's like building those relationships first and then expanding on it. And I did this for a year straight, 52 weeks. And what I learned was how different people are, right? Like, when you talk to a bunch of people, everyone has little similarities between different things. And you start to understand, going back to the whole EQ thing, it's that emotional intelligence of, okay, this person actually does not want to talk to me and I should leave, and I'm pressing really hard. I need to go, right? Hey, nice to meet you. It's been great. Don't worry, your drink's on me. I'll talk to you soon. And it just creates it just helps you understand people as a whole. Because the biggest thing about EQ, it's understanding people and knowing what to say and when to walk away.
I think, now we're in my wheelhouse. I love this.
Wheel it.
What I heard you say was boundaries and letting go are important.
Extremely important.
So the capacity to be vulnerable with people and initiate also carries with it the capacity to let go of where you were coming from. So you have this ability to let go of your comfort zone, engage with somebody, know your own boundaries, and then continue that moving forward. You'll let go of that and move to the next. There's not this over attachment, like I expect something from somebody else. You're just providing value and can kind of just float about a networking situation, providing value without being attached to an outcome of, this didn't go well, got rejected over here. Oh, this went really well. I'm going to stick to that. You just kind of continue to bring the value and move forward.
Yeah, and also know where you are. Like, the one thing about startup events that I feel like founders need to understand, it's don't walk into someone and start pitching your product immediately. Like, hey, I have this cool product. It is this, and this, like, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't even know who I am. Like, like, talk to me first, figure out who I am, and then change your pitch to what that is.
Yeah.
Whether you need a pitch or not, right? Because you might say, oh, this has zero value to this person. I'll tell you a snippet about what it is that I do and talk about what you do. And then let's talk about where you were at last weekend. Like one of my new closest friends, we were doing a deal and I dropped off a check for my client for a security deposit. And this guy doesn't really like brokers at all. And I literally sat down and he was in an office like this. I sat down and said, so what are you doing this weekend? And then he was stopped. He's like, well, I'm doing this. And I said, okay, cool, great. I feel like I knew he didn't want to talk to me anymore. I said, okay, well, cool, man. I'll talk to you later. And then I left. And to this day, he tells the story to people about, I hated brokers, but I just loved Mike.
Well, that's a good example of context.
You have to have context.
Right. You have to have context, but there's multiple layers of context. And I think being a connector at the networking situation is the context isn't you selling something. It isn't self-centered. It's others-centered. And you can think, oh, this person's interesting, and I can connect them to here. And this person connects to this project or connects to this idea. It's just outside of what your own intentionality may be, which I find to be extremely fascinating. So you can take a professional situation and take that context and move it to something personal. What are you doing this weekend? Right? And
it's so important because also you need to understand, like I said earlier, when to walk away.
Yeah.
And don't expect the deal to happen right then and there. Like there's a very large percentage chance you will see this person again.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's so good.
And people just get too hung up. Oh, I got to close you right now. Hey, Marcus, I do this. Blah, 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 let's do this. Or hey, Brian, I do this. Blah, blah, blah.
They can't context shit.
And then it's like, okay, all right, well, now you're overstimulated up here.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, like you're going to see that person again at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, man, this has been an amazing hour. And before we start to wrap up, I want to ask you each one more question. How can people connect with you? Marcus, we'll start with you. How can people connect with you?
So you can go to Substack, type in my name, first name, last name, Marcus Sawyerr. We got 130,000 people following our AI community. So that's
how do you spell your last name?
Sawyerr, so 2 R's.
Oh, that's cool. I want to add one more question. The win for our audience today, listening to you, what one thing would you like them to take away based on your experience, whether it's engaging with people, building a business? What is that one thing that you think has been one of the biggest driving factors in where you are today?
I think that whatever you're doing, there's going to be highs and lows, and you've got to have an even keel across the board and continue to go through the muck. And I think if you have that mindset and you get up every day and think yesterday can be better, tomorrow can be better than yesterday, then I think you'll continue to thrive. So, and just help people, genuinely care about the people that you interact with, and like genuinely ask them real questions that you care about, and you'll find genuine connections.
Yeah, love that. Mike, same question. How can people connect with you, and one takeaway for our audience?
Yeah, you can find me on all social media at It's Mike Lee, LinkedIn, Instagram, everything. You can email me, DM me. I respond. I'm very responsive. There's two things that I learned, right? One, just having this conversation with you guys. The sparring partner thing, I'm so in love with that. I'm telling you right now, I love it. Having people that are in your court that are going to fight with you to help you understand what it is that you're doing. And then as a startup founder and as someone who's building a product, be who you are and understand that people buy from people, not companies. Like I always press this. It's build you. If you're out and you're doing sales, you're trying to build a community. People want to build a community with you. Like your product, great. But if you're building a community, this is revolved around you.
Awesome. Well, I'm so thankful for you both and you, Brian, being a part of this community. Marcus, you going to Transform this year?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you there.
I'll be speaking there. So.
Oh, are you? You are actually speaking. Okay, great. Well, go to transform.us, I believe, if you all want.
US, yeah.
If you want more information on Transform, that's up and coming. Brian, thanks for the show today. Great job.
Thank you. Great conversation. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
You guys are the best. We'll see you all soon. Stay safe.